The Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most important waterways, connects the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea. It's a 33 kilometers. A stretch of water less than 2 kilometers wide at its narrowest point. Through it passes around 20 million barrels of oil per day, which translates into roughly 20% of the world's crude oil consumption. But why is this strait so important? Let's take a look at some amazing facts about it that you didn't know. No one. The Strait of Hormuz has long been a flashpoint for tensions in the region. As far back as the 6th century BC, the Greeks were aware of the strait and its strategic importance. In modern times, the strait has been the site of several conflicts. During the Iran-Iraq War of the 1980s, both sides used the strait as a route for their naval forces. And in 2016, Iranian forces seized 2 U.S. Navy command boats in the region. The presence of foreign militaries in the area has been a source of tension for Iran, which views it as a threat to its national security. Despite these tensions, the strait remains one of the most important trade routes in the world. Number 2. Pirates. The waters around the Strait of Hormuz have long been a haven for pirates. Within the 1700s, the area was infested with Arab and Indian pirates who preyed on the richest ships that passed through the strait. One of the most infamous pirates to sail these waters was Qing Shi, a Chinese pirate, who plundered on richest Chinese and Arab vessels. He amassed a fortune of around $2 billion in today's money and became one of the first billionaires in history. Even today, piracy remains a problem in the region. In recent years, Somali pirates have been known to operate in the waters around the strait, targeting oil tankers and other large vessels. No, 3 smugglers. Smugglers have also long had a presence in the waters around the strait. In the past, they smuggled goods such as ivory, spices, and opium. Today, smugglers are more likely to be found transporting illegal drugs and weapons. The waters around the strait are vast and mostly unpatrolled, making them a perfect place for smugglers to ply their trade. Many of the smugglers operating in the region are linked to organized crime groups. They often work with corrupt officials to get their shipments through customs. For choke point, Strait of Hormuz is considered a choke point because it is a narrow passage that controls the flow of traffic between 2 larger bodies of water. In this case, the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. Because the strait is so narrow, it can easily be blocked or closed off, which would have major implications for global oil prices. A choke point is any geographical feature that controls the flow of traffic along a trade route. Other examples of choke points include the Suez Canal and the Strait of Malacca. Choke points are important because they give those who control them the ability to restrict or stop the flow of traffic. This can be done for a variety of reasons, such as protecting a country's national security interests, controlling access to vital resources, or simply for extortion purposes. Whoever controls the choke point has the power to dictate the terms under which traffic is allowed to pass through. This gives them a significant advantage over those who are trying to pass through. For example, if a country were to block the Strait of Hormuz, it would be able to prevent oil from flowing out of the Persian Gulf. This would cause global oil prices to skyrocket, which would devastate economies around the world. Number 5. What would happen if it closed? Well, the chances of the Strait of Hormuz closing anytime soon are slim. However, it is important to be prepared for any eventuality. If the strait were to close, the impact on the global economy would be devastating. Oil prices would skyrocket, leading to inflation and economic turmoil. There would also be major political repercussions as countries scramble to find new sources of oil. The United States and its allies would likely try to force the strait open, which could lead to a major conflict. Fortunately, there are some things that we can do to mitigate the damage if the strait were to close. For example, we could develop alternative sources of energy or reduce our dependence on oil. We could also work to improve relations with countries in the region in order to reduce the likelihood of conflict. While it is unlikely that the Strait of Hormuz will close anytime soon, it is important to be prepared for any eventuality. No. 6. Modern surveillance and tech. Thanks to modern surveillance technology, we are able to keep an eye on the Strait of Hormuz at all times. This is important for a number of reasons. First, it allows us to monitor the flow of traffic through the strait. This is important for both military and commercial vessels. By monitoring the flow of traffic, we are able to detect any suspicious activity. This includes smuggling, piracy, and other illegal activities. Additionally, we can use surveillance technology to track the movements of foreign military vessels. This is important for a number of reasons. First, it allows us to keep an eye on potential threats. This includes hostile military exercises and the deployment of new military equipment. Additionally, we can use surveillance technology to gather intelligence on our adversaries. This includes monitoring communications and tracking the movements of personnel. Finally, we can use surveillance technology to protect our own military assets. This includes tracking the movements of friendly vessels and monitoring for potential attacks. By taking these precautions, we are able to ensure the safety of our troops and our allies, while also deterring aggression from our adversaries. Number 7. Unexpected wildlife. You might be surprised to learn that the waters around the Strait of Hormuz are home to a variety of wildlife. Because of the strait's strategic importance, it is heavily trafficked by both military and commercial vessels. This has resulted in the deaths of numerous dolphins and other marine animals, who become entangled in the ship's ropes or are struck by their propellers. In addition to dolphins, the waters around the strait are also home to a variety of other marine life, including turtles, fish, and coral reefs. Unfortunately, much of this wildlife is threatened by human activities such as oil drilling and fishing. However, there are a few organizations working to protect the marine life around the Strait of Hormuz. One such organization is the World Wildlife Fund, which is working to reduce the impact of shipping on dolphin populations. Another organization, the Coral Reef Alliance, is working to protect the coral reefs around the strait from damage caused by oil drilling and other human activities. Number 8. Closing thought. The Strait of Hormuz is an important waterway that connects the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman. It is a vital link for the transport of oil around the world, and is also home to a variety of wildlife. Although the chances of the strait closing anytime soon are slim, it is important to be prepared for any eventuality. The impact on the global economy would be devastating if the strait were to close. But thanks to modern surveillance technology, we are able to keep an eye on the Strait of Hormuz at all times. Hopefully you now know a little bit more about this incredibly important waterway and the challenges that it faces. Do you think the Strait of Hormuz will remain open in the future? Or do you think it will eventually close? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing videos. Thank you for watching.